Hello, my name is Willi Singleton. I'm a G3 Goddard student, and this is my presentation on my practicum, which is about place-based making. And as you can see, I have lots of bamboo at my studio and home here. In fact, I've been using the bamboo for this kind of a glaze for quite a few years. And when I was casting about looking for an idea for my practicum, Cynthia Ross suggested to me that I incorporate aspects of Black Mountain College activities that I was studying last semester. And the way Black Mountain students and faculty had very little in the way of monetary resources and incorporated materials that they were able to get a hold of without spending money was one of the interesting things that they did, and then using those materials in very creative ways. So I'm thinking that this practicum is an opportunity for me to invite friends to come and use the material which I have in abundance here. As you can see, the bamboo surrounding my house and my kiln. And since I've had this relationship with bamboo going back quite a long time, making the glaze out of it, I thought this might be a nice way to extend my use of bamboo. So let me just introduce you to my place here. As you can see, my bamboo grove, which started as 5 little bamboo shoots 28 years ago, has now become a veritable forest, although I've cut it back significantly in the last couple of months. I'm loading my kiln right now, so the pots are all strewn around, ready to go back to the kiln, which is also surrounded by bamboo, as you see. But my work is generally a reflection of this place in that I use local materials to make my pots with. In the discussion of embodiment and use of body, immediately as a potter, I think of clay body. And this is my clay body here. This is the clay from the Chesapeake Bay, the very red clay. And this is the clay from Hawk Mountain, just up the road, as you see, sticking out there. These two clays mixed together are what I use to make my pots with. So my pots are sort of an embodiment of this valley in that they are the local clays covered with glazes made of the local ashes from the local materials. Bamboo, cornstalk, wood ash, clay from this creek here is another one of the glazes that I use. And this is where the practicum is happening. Across the creek and the 15 acres that I own right here is where I have invited people to make things with me. So the idea of place-based making is, of course, not a new idea. This is, as far as ceramics goes, this is pretty much the way things were done until recent times. Pots were made with local materials and fired with local fuels. But during my second semester with Cynthia, I did a lot of reading of Gary Snyder's work. And Gary Snyder is a very strong advocate for, he says, learn your place, create a relationship with your environment, with your place, with your locality. In a very short bit of advice, he says, stay together, learn the flowers, and go light, as a sort of motto to live by. I think that's great. So learning the flowers in my case is learning what I can do in incorporating these local materials into what I make. The practicum was basically an invitation put out by me for my friends to come to this piece of land and take materials, bamboo being one of them, clay or other vines and so on, things that are existing right here, to make things with. And so a over the last month and a half or so, lots of friends and colleagues and students have come by and made things. I have been the assistant, basically, to all of these individuals or parties of workers. They're lackey, so to speak, and cutting bamboo into strips so that they can be bent into shapes, or holding things up so they can be fastened, or finding the tools to facilitate the work that needed to be done. It's been really a lot of fun, being basically in a sort of collaborative project, not just sort of telling people what to do, but being more a chance for me to observe how people interact with the area here, the ideas that come to them from being here surrounded by the birds and the bugs and the various critters and uh, things in the woods. I've been also making my own sculptural pieces, which have largely been sort of drawing on the idea of shelter, sculptures relating to shelter or structures or sort of things generally with strips or bent strips of bamboo that you can crawl into, much like the thing that you all saw at the Goddard residency that I made. It's been fascinating to work with bamboo as a material, which is beautiful as it, by itself, as it grows, the sort of elegant shapes that it flops into, but also as you manipulate it as a material, its sort of tensile strength and its wonderful colors and textures and tenacity. It's actually a very strong material. It bends really well, it bounces, it creates really wonderful shapes when you fasten two ends and bend it. So it's been a chance for me to expand from the sort of functional, focused pots that I have made for the past 3 decades into more sculptural forms just for the fun of making them, for the aesthetic communication purpose. So let me just finish with this piece by my friend Tamu. This is the entry gate. So thank you for entering my space with me. Bye.